Welcome to Canada's Property Management Podcast, your number one resource for investing, managing, and maximizing the value of your real estate assets. And now, here's your hosts, Carla Brown and Adrian Schultz, Canada's rental property experts.
In today's episode, we're talking about why property management is a great and growing business opportunity in Canada. Carla, let's start off with the technical reasons.
Sorry.
Hand flailing there, ready to go.
Hands flailing. I shouldn't start laughing as you're talking, but you're so serious right now. And I want to start this conversation off by making people realize that in property management, we actually do more than collect rent checks. Actually, we never go door to door to collect rent checks. I hope none of my investors are really or any investors out there are doing that right now. And fix toilets, because that's what the image that people get in their minds, there goes my hands, when you say property management. We are so much more than that. And in fact, with real property management, we consider ourselves asset managers versus property managers. We can kind of dig into that in a second. But from a technical standpoint, there's a few statistics that I think are really key for people if they're thinking of looking at this as a business opportunity for themselves. There was a report by the Bank of Canada a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to say when because I'm not dating this, right? It could be a couple weeks from whenever you listen to this, that 20% of the mortgages being funded currently are for investment properties. That's huge.
That's one in five. Wow.
That's huge. And then other statistics to kind of get your mind thinking is that we know that approximately 36% of Canadians are renters. So that's over a third are rentals. So if you think of that, it's kind of like 1 in every 3 houses is a rental property, which not in every area, but yeah, it's huge when you look at it. And in Canada, there is about 26,000 that we know of property management companies, yet about 80% of the investors still self-manage. So just by doing the math, looking at that, you can see the opportunity that's available in this industry currently.
What I like about the property management business is it's a professional service business. It's reoccurring income without technically any accounts receivable because property managers are paid upon rent collection, a percentage thereof. There's a low cost of entry to get into the business. You do, in many jurisdictions, have to be licensed and credentialed. It's province specific. There's unlimited earning potential, even based on the statistics that you just shared. And for me, I love that there's spin-off business opportunities as you grow, such as maintenance, appliance repair, landscape, janitorial, and many others that you know we can add to that list. But I think what property management business in Canada lacks is brand consistency and systems. But Carla, you have a solution for that.
Yeah, and that's why I got into this business to begin with, is that I saw a real need of I guess that whole customer service and how this industry could be much more professional and provide a level of service for the clients that actually was a win-win for everyone, the investor, the tenant, etc. Because investors and tenants have high expectations. And someone could argue with me, but I would say higher expectations than they did years ago. When they're coming into a property, especially because renters rent by choice. Now, they don't necessarily rent because they have to, which was what I think was thought of years and years ago. So what we're trying to do with real property management across Canada, as you know, we're a franchise organization with offices from one side of the country to the other and growing, is that we can interject through technology, through proven systems and marketing, the automation and a lot of workflows that are automated to improve that communication to really get to that consistent client experience. Because we also know that investors are not investing in their own backyard anymore. So they may live in Ontario and invest in Alberta. So they could have a property management, or they could have a company managing a property for them in Ontario and a real property management company managing a property in Alberta. And the reports would look the same. The service would look the same. They'll be used to a lot of consistent ways of doing business. And consistency, especially on that communication level, drives business, because people want to know that they're going to be getting that each and every day or each and every month. And that's really, really important. And I think when we look at COVID, it is very much like any industry, really accelerated the need for technology. Technology comes at a cost. Adrian, as you know, you are my director of tech, that we work very close on the technology here at RPM, and I'll let you talk to that in a second. But the reality is that not everyone could just go out and get this to do a handful of properties.
No,
right?
It's impossible. And I would actually, so I've been a real estate investor since, give or take, 2002. And have been actively involved in the property management industry for over 10 years. And what I would argue, having seen many different property managers and their businesses and the reports and the ways that they operate, is that the benefit of working with a franchised property manager, such as an RPM office, gives you a level of resident experience, of brand, right? Everybody wants to, people love their Apple computer because it's an experience, it's a quality thing, it's a service thing, and the same would go for.
It's a symbol of credibility as well,
right? And trust, right? So I think that
Yeah.
you can. So there's the ability to trust, because any one of our family members or network members that are franchisees, they're attending our weekly best practice calls and our monthly calls, and sharing the same systems and tools to run their businesses, to help them run the properties that they asset manage. And I think personally, and I'm a little bit biased, but I think we have the most sophisticated and best quality systems and processes currently available in Canada, many of which are actually proprietary to us, that enable an RPM office to manage your property better than anyone else in the local market can. And, I think if you want a business that's service-based, where you set, in many ways, you can set some of your work day. You've got that reoccurring revenue, right? You're not always having to go look for another client because the revenue is reoccurring on your book of business. Low cost to get into, but the networking and the real benefit of RPM is the ability to collaborate with like-minded people who are doing the same thing as you. No one's out on their own, and you can trust, right, that our systems and processes are going to benefit you when you're starting or converting your business to an RPM office.
Yeah, thanks for that, Adrian. I think that I can sum that up really quickly. Just being with a company like Real Property Management and gaining that edge in the automation and technology. And we didn't even dive into what our marketing actually can do for somebody who's trying to build their business, which is huge, huge, huge. And one of the biggest pain points I would argue that most businesses have is, how do you market effectively? We've figured that one out as well. But you can be in business for yourself, and you're not by yourself. And that's really how we sum it up at RPM, is that we do feel we are a community of like-minded individuals who want to create a consistent an excellent client experience across Canada, like investors wouldn't get anywhere else.
Now that's real property management.
Thanks for listening to Canada's Property Management Podcast. If you like this episode, please subscribe and give us a rating, which will help us reach more listeners. Until next time, connect with us on social media and online at realpm.ca.